Minister, it's very obvious we need an urgent review of ambulance resources and the configuration to ensure this emergency service is adequately resourced and run efficiently and effectively. And I do want to acknowledge the Trojan work of the dedicated paramedics and other emergency staff. I have seen firsthand what their absolute dedication, and they deserve much better than what they're being presented with at the moment. We're talking about protecting lives here and saving lives and retaining and supporting and protecting ambulance workers that are burnt out from long, exhausting shifts. Minister, how can you stand over an emergency service that's constructed and resourced in a way that means seriously ill patients are waiting up to 2.5 hours for an ambulance? The bottom line is we need to stop the crisscrossing of ambulances travelling hundreds of kilometres by expanding our ambulance fleet and ensuring that rural communities are served properly. Yesterday I joined the nurses outside Mayo University Hospital when they were protesting about conditions and about the safety, and that was the most word that they used was the concern they had for safety of patients and safety of staff, and that should concern you, and it certainly should concern us all. I hear accounts of routine delays of offloading patients at an emergency department due to lack of capacity. They have raised the issue of severe lack of nursing staff to take over the care of patients from the ambulances, and this is what's happening. Right now in Mayo, the nurse-to-patient ratio can be as high as 1 to 15 instead of 1 to 7 due to the staffing shortages there. And that is the problem, where ambulances are lined up outside the hospital. 2 weeks ago, I spoke to a family of an 85-year-old woman, a cancer patient, who waited outside Mayo University Hospital for over 6 hours with no morphine as she was referred by Westtalk. No morphine, in pain, outside Mayo University Hospital. The other point I want to make to you, Minister, is it should be much easier for UK-trained paramedics to transfer their registrations to work in Ireland. They tell me that it's easier for them to go to Australia than it is to come back to their own country. So we need to address the crisis in the ambulance service and indeed in the wider health service. I want to ask you as well, Minister, in relation to the National Ambulance Service and the rollout of the booster vaccine, particularly to those that they rolled it out before. Are they going to be doing the same thing this time, and what's the timeline for that? So people who are in their 80s and 90s who are housebound, when are they going to get the booster vaccine, and is it going to be through the National Ambulance Service? Thank you.
Anyone else suffering in this lot?